Hello and thank you for joining us today on this webinar. Today our topic is going to be 5 things you need to know about right now to do with nutrition. So this is something that not a lot of people really want to hear. You can do absolutely everything right in the gym, work really hard and still not lose weight. And there is a reason for this. Oftentimes people are so focused on what they're doing in the gym, they forget that it's super important what they do outside of the gym, which is what they do with their nutrition. And here's why. It's much easier to eat a calorie than it is to burn a calorie. For example, how much time in the gym do you think it would take to burn off just one chocolate digested biscuit? It can be as much as 8.5 minutes working as hard as you can, and that's if you're heavily muscular, really athletic and can really get a high workload out, or for most people around 13 minutes. Or to put that in terms that you might really be able to relate to, it's about 85 burpees at the minimum, and that's just for one biscuit. You think how long it would take you to do 85 burpees, it's probably a lot longer than it takes you to eat one chocolate digestive biscuit. So the hard fact of it is that basically you can't outtrain a bad diet. So does this mean exercise is pointless? Well, no, there's still many good reasons to do exercise. There's 50 listed here, which we won't go through just for the interest of time. But exercise is very important, but it's simply not an effective tool for weight loss if your nutrition isn't right. However, if the nutrition is correct, then you can have fantastic results when combined with exercise. So, like I said before, you can't outtrain a bad diet. So that's where we're going to start, the importance of nutrition. So you've already got, for most of you, access to one of the best gyms in Cheshire, if not the UK. Everything that you could do or need in terms of exercise is already taken care of. So what do you need now? You basically need a solid nutrition plan. And it's all well and good knowing that a beef burger might be quite healthy if it's lean meat, but perhaps not so healthy if it's got loads of different sauces on it and that sort of stuff. Most of us know what's good and what's not good about food, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we actually do those things. What most people's approach to nutrition is, I'll just start by being good on Monday, and they go with an all or nothing plan where they say, I'll give up wine after work, office biscuits, desserts, takeaways, basically everything that they enjoy. But what tends to happen in a short period of time is they fall back into old habits and usually put on more weight than they lost in the first place. And this is quite common. Most people who've done either like a Weight Watchers, Slimming World, any kind of crash diet, perhaps a juicing diet or anything like that, find that very quickly after that initial period of good intention, they tend to sort of go back to old ways. So for those of you who are in the workshop that we did live, you'll have seen this video. If not, I invite you to give it a search, and basically there's a link on this presentation for you. This just gives you an example of how many things we can focus on at one time. So the typical diet asks you to give up many different things whilst adopting lots of new, healthy nutritional habits. But quite simply, we're just not good at doing more than one thing at once. A good example would be, if I throw just one ball to you, you'll most likely catch it. But if I throw 10 all at once, you probably won't catch any. So as humans, we're only really good at doing one thing at a time. Most of the research suggests that if you focus on just one new habit for an entire month, your success rate can be as high as 80%. And that's useful because at that point, you've adopted that habit, you've assimilated it, and you're now doing it successfully. Whereas as soon as we say to somebody, we need you to be a little bit more ambitious and adopt 2 habits at the same time, the success rate drops to 20% for either habit. So simply put, as soon as we give you 2 things to focus on, you're more likely to fail, or much more likely to fail. Which is one of the reasons when we do this nutrition work with our clients, we only give them one thing to focus on, and so they've really got a good grasp of that before we add more to their sort of workload. We promised you that we would go through these habits quite quickly, because we realise that not many people have loads of time to go and sit in a webinar or a workshop. So we're just going to go through what I think the most important nutrition habits you can adopt are right now. And they're listed on your screen right here. We'll focus on the first 2. They kind of work well together anyway. The first one is to eat slowly. until you're at 80% full. If you do nothing else other than this from this workshop or seminar, then you will get great results from your nutrition. Simply put, if you eat really slowly, your body will have time to register when you're actually getting full. When people need to eat in eating competitions, you'll see them eat very, very quickly. They do that for a good reason. They're trying to get as much food into the body before the stomach can send a signal to the brain to say that they're getting full. If you are eating quite quickly at home, quite likely you're doing the same thing. By simply slowing down and trying to eat until you are satisfied but not stuffed, you'll probably find that you're reducing the amount of food that you are eating, probably by 20-25%. Just think, if you're getting a quarter less of the calories than you would normally have, then your body's going to start to be losing weight because you're probably having less calories in than you were having before when you were maintaining your weight. It's a very simple process, and what we do with our clients is we break that down, so we give them things that they can focus on. Where most coaches fail is they'll give somebody a fairly complex issue to solve and they'll say, just go and eat slowly and be done with it. But how does someone eat slowly? What we do is we give advice to our clients. They can put their knife and fork down between meals. They can have a conversation while they're eating, perhaps eat at the table where they're focused on the meal only. Sip drinks of water in between the meal. Chew the food for a certain number of times. Anything that really increases the amount of awareness that goes into eating that food. You'd be surprised how different foods taste differently when you eat them slowly. I'd invite anyone to eat a heavily processed, chemically meal really, really slow. You'll find that it doesn't taste anywhere near as good as you think it does. So, first one is eat slowly, and we try and only eat until 80% full. We leave ourselves a little bit hungry and allow our body to eat our body fat to make up the remaining calories that we need to thrive. The next one is to eat every 2 to 4 hours. We do this to be able to control our hormone levels, to be able to control our hunger, and also, if we're eating little and often, we're probably going to have more energy for the day and be a little bit more active. We won't go in this presentation through all of the different habits. That's the whole point of the course that we're going to be running here at Matron Exercise Studios. But they're on your screen, and we've even gone as far as to give you a further set of habits up to 11. And these are really the things that we focus with our clients when we're training them. So this is basically a 12-month curriculum right here. If you focus on just one of these habits, really nailed it down for a month, and then the next month added to that habit, by this time next year, you would be eating perfectly, losing weight, and probably much, much happier and healthy. So that's kind of how we do it here at Matron Exercise Studios. It's all easier said than done. Just looking at that screen isn't going to get you results. You really have to be consistent with your habits. You need to know how to program those habits and make sure they happen. So what we have is a little bit of online support. So everyone who takes part in our Precision Nutrition course that we're going to run will have access to our Pro Coach platform, which I'm showing you right here on screen. As a client, you will be either in the Coaching for Men or Coaching for Women platform, and every day what will happen is on your screen or in your app you will get lessons to read. Now these lessons, you can read them if you're interested, but the main thing is actually this bit, the habit, that's the part that you really need to do. The lesson will tell you why you need to do what you're looking to do. For example, if I click on this one here, it's going to ask me how hungry I really am. It's going to tell me about what it feels like to be actually hungry or what it feels like to just be distracted and bored, because oftentimes people eat simply because it's something to do. All the lessons are in audible format, so you can listen to them, but you can also read them, and usually they're 5 minutes, something like that. Nothing particularly long. You can even do it sat on the loo. So you read through your lessons, and sometimes they'll ask you questions. They'll talk to you a little bit about what it's like to leave food on your plate, that sort of thing, and the reasons that that might actually be beneficial at first. So that is kind of how the lesson works. Simple questions on a scale of 1 to 10. what was the hungriest I got today. So I would click that, type in a little bit of information, and my coach would read that. Moving back, we have our practice habit. You can click onto this and basically it just says, did you do your habit today? So right now, our clients are focusing on eating until they're 80% full. If you did that habit, click yes. If you overate, click no. We're not judging you here, we're just looking at how easily you're adopting the habits and whether you need help. What happens on the other side of this is going into the back office of what the coaches see. So this will be myself, and what I'll see is any lessons that you might have basically answered. Once you've answered, these come through to the coach, and the coach can read through your responses and they can reply to you. Right now, we just have a couple of clients testing the system out for us, but we're ready to enlist our new batch of clients probably at the end of July, early August, just because we've done this last one for the previous year. So that's kind of how the Pro Coach formula works. In addition to that, we also have a situation where you guys can join us on a weekly basis. So on a weekly basis, on a Wednesday, you can come in to have your weights and measurements done, and this will be done in a socially supportive atmosphere where, you know, everyone who's taking part in this course can work together towards supporting each other with anything you've had problems with. It's also an opportunity to discuss the current habit that we're working on, any kind of roadblocks you've entered, like for example, say we're trying to get you to eat slowly and for whatever reason you're struggling to do that. Perhaps the situation is you've got to get out of the house really, really early to get to work and there's no way you can spend 20 minutes eating a meal. One solution might be that if we pre-prepare a super shake, which would be like a protein shake with mixed berries, waters, yogurts and things like that, you could actually sip that on the way to work, in which case you've had a meal and it's taken over a longer period of time. So these workshops are there to help you stay consistent and actually adopt the habits that we're looking to do. So everyone moves through the process together and is well supported. What this does is it helps our clients go through body transformations. Really serious results are obtained with this sort of thing. So if we just go back to our Precision Nutrition portal here, I can briefly take you through to our website. Now the website that I'm going to show you shows you the results that people have got with this exact program that you're going to be following. And if you like, there's going to be a link to this website as well. So when we go through to the website, it tells you a little bit about me and the coaching that I do. And it also tells you what you can expect from the program. Just skipping through to that, we can have a look at some of the results and transformations that other people have had. So people just like you have gone through this program, losing 50 pounds, 70 pounds, hell of a lot of weight, seriously transforming their lives, and you can read about their stories there. If you're interested in doing this program, you simply need to get in contact by email, phone call, or text message and tell me that you're interested in joining this course, which will be starting in August. That's simple. That's all you need to do. If you have any questions, get in touch. I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Thank you for your time.